What's up YouTube, and welcome back to the Hardy Gardening channel. Today we're going to talk about Kratky hydroponics. So we're going to be talking about these miniature systems here. I'm going to show you how to set one up for yourself. We are going to not be planting a pepper today, surprisingly. I have enough peppers going as it is. So we're going to be doing little systems like this. So it's just in a half a water bottle. Mostly just in the Hydroton clay pebbles. So you only put a small amount of nutrients in there and sits right in there like that. And then it just goes in this little beer cozy to help keep the light out so you're not growing a bunch of algae. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to set one of these up for yourself. You can grow pretty much anything in it. You can do herbs, you can do tomatoes, peppers, lettuce if you want to. I've seen people do radishes, pretty much anything. Because it's so small, it limits the size of how big your plant will get before it fruits. So if you look at this one, I actually started this in soil in a small pot, and then I transplanted it and washed the dirt off and put it into hydroponics. That was long before it fruited. I started this one on July 1st, so it's been going for quite a while. But you can see we got big fruits on here starting, and just tons of them, and it's only in this small half a water bottle still. So you can see there's just a small amount of nutrients. Now, one downside to growing in such a small system is I can't really leave this. Like if I were to go somewhere on a trip or something, I can't leave it in this small container because it's drinking, when it's fruiting like this, it's drinking that little bit of nutrients pretty much every day, or in a day and a half it's dry in there, which with peppers, not a problem if they dry out for a few hours and you fill it up again. They don't really seem to care. So it can stress your plant, obviously, which might lead to smaller fruit size, but this one's dried up multiple times and it doesn't seem to make a difference. In the last video, one thing I wanted to show here, in the last video, I was telling you how this one had root rot. This is the Mad Hatter, and I was hoping that it was going to bounce back, and it is. Look how healthy those roots are in there. They're nice and white. I cut pretty much almost all the roots off completely, just leaving like maybe a half an inch of roots, and I dunked it in hydrogen peroxide solution for a while and let that soak for about half an hour. And then after that, I just put it back in some nutrients, about half strength, and it's bouncing back pretty good. It's got a bunch of new leaves coming in, some new branch growth. It's trying to flower, but I keep picking them off because it doesn't have enough foliage to sustain fruit yet. So that's about that for what we got going here. Let's show you how to set one of these up for yourself so you can get growing in your own home. Okay, so this is about all you're going to need to get this going here. We're going to be planting some orange hat tomatoes from Baker Creek. This is a extra dwarf tomato, so it only gets about as big as it is in the picture before it fruits, so you know that's perfect for this size of thing. One thing I have tried is doing a regular tomato in one of these, and I wouldn't recommend it. It just gets too tall and it drinks the water so fast because the plant gets too big. You can do it in a larger container for a bigger tomato, but for these little ones, I think this will be perfect. I'm sure we're going to get some fruit off it, so all you're gonna need is you're gonna need a water bottle like this with that kind of hourglass shape in there. I picked these up at Walmart. You can get anything. This is a different one. That'll work too, just as long as it can fit a net pot like this. So this is a 2-inch net pot. All of this is super cheap. You can do this for really, really cheap in your own house. Even if you just live in an apartment, doesn't take up hardly any room, as much room as a water bottle. You're gonna need some rock wool, net pots, some of these little beer cozies, and really any container just to start the seeds in to get them germinated. It doesn't have to be something like this. Pick this up at the dollar store. And then optionally as well is these clay pebbles, these Hydroton clay pebbles as a grow medium. So all we're gonna do is, normally I just soak this in water and then plant my seed. There's a little hole right in it. Usually just take some scissors, make the hole slightly bigger, and I'll usually make multiple holes in it just to plant multiple seeds. But something I've had issues with these is I don't think it's necessary to have this entire cube. When I put the full cube in, the roots only seem to want to come out. Let's see if I can flip this one over. The roots seem to have a hard time spreading out of that rock wool. I don't know if that's a common issue or not, or maybe I'm doing something wrong, but what I found is you don't need that whole piece of rock wool. So it's a little bit wasteful, I guess, to use the whole thing anyways. So I don't know if you can see in this one, there's just a small piece of rock wool. So I'm going to be planting the seeds just into a portion of it. That's going to also extend the life of the rock wool that I bought. So I'll get more out of what I bought. So you can buy you can buy all this stuff on Amazon. I bought the Hydroton there. I bought the net cups in a pack of 100. The rock wool is 2-inch cubes or 1.5-inch cubes, fits perfectly in there, but you can buy that for in 100 pack as well. If you want to be cheaper, just buy a smaller pack. You don't have to get the 100 pack. But what we're going to do today, we're going to just cut this into smaller pieces. So we're going to use about 1/8 of it, I think. So I'm just going to use a little piece like that. So all you got to do then is take whatever you got, put a little hole in it like that. I'm going to do 2 of these just because it's small. I don't want germination to fail. I don't think it will. I've already planted one of these before and it was really good. And you just want to take some water. It's just regular tap water. And you want to soak this thing, make sure it's fully saturated. Oh, could have done that in my container. It's okay if there's extra water underneath of it. The roots are just going to go into that anyways. So, all you got to do is get your seeds. Now, I like to tap them right into there usually, but these seeds are really small, so I'm just going to get 2 seeds, 1 for each. I want to drop it into that hole. I missed one, so we'll just push it into there. Kind of be careful with it, but you can push it down into the bottom of that hole and then just kind of pinch the hole closed. Pinch the hole closed on that one. And that's it really for starting it. You're not going to need these right away, but I'll show you how to set it up anyway. So usually on this bottle, the label ends right here, right above that hourglass shape. There's an indented line. So you can go ahead and just take some scissors, just cut it at that line. Just like that. And then your net pot is going to sit in there like that. And your cozy will go right on it like that. So if you cut it at that line, it sticks up just a little bit past this cozy. It makes it easier for pulling it out of there when you need to check the nutrients or check how the roots are doing. So we're not going to be doing that. We're going to do a part 2 to this video once these are germinated, and I'm going to show you how to get them in here and how to mix some nutrients. And yeah, so that's going to be an orange hat tomato. So I'm just going to close these into this container to keep some of that moisture in. I'm going to leave it in the grow tent, but it doesn't need to be under a light until they've actually sprouted. So I'm just going to set them into a corner here that doesn't have too much light. It doesn't have to be dark either, but it's kind of nice and warm in here, so they'll germinate well. So yeah, we'll see you once these have sprouted. Okay, so that's pretty much all you need to know for starting to germinate your own Kratky hydroponics. So now we just gotta wait for about a week to 2 weeks for those seedlings to pop up, and then we'll get them into some Hydroton and put some nutrients under them so they can get their roots down into it. So that's all for the video. If you like this kind of content, please feel free to like and subscribe. There's going to be more videos, about one every week. So I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in to Hardy Gardening channel.